Hey guys, I'm Captain Foley.
Iconic.
Welcome back to Fleetyards. And today we're looking at something new, one of the new kids on the block, as it were. It actually came out as recently as yesterday. What are we looking at today, Samuel? Well, you don't even know the name of it because we had to look it up for other video, don't you?
Well, I call it Earth Space Dock, but it's not. It's Earth Dockyard.
Dockyard. Sounds like a new show by us.
I know, it's such a little reference. Maybe they do that intentionally. It's Trekyards, there's Orville yards, there's Dockyards, there's...
No, they didn't.
So yeah, this is basically Earth Space Dock or Dry Dock, the amalgam of both in the Pirate of Orville. I'm sure it'll come back again. We saw it in the trailers and we sort of looked at it briefly, but this is our proper analysis now that we can look at multiple pictures. So Stuart, what do you think of this design?
I think it's great. As always, I mean, it ties in with a lot of different things that I see. I see, Galaxy Quest. I see Star Trek. I even see Starship Troopers in this one. The way that the arms extend out, you park the ship between them. I mean, the Orville is a small ship. It's not a heavy cruiser, or it's a mid-class ship. It's not a heavy cruiser, so you can see it parked there. It doesn't take up the whole thing. I like to see what a heavy cruiser or a dreadnought of this fleet in there would look like. I think it would take up a lot more room than that. So, I don't know. It's a very interesting design. The 3-prong design, I think they could have added more to fit more ships in. They said they had 3,000 in their fleet, so I assume it would be bigger. But there might be other ones floating around Earth.
Just to give it a bit reviewy, what a brilliant joke. But 3,000 ships. Yeah, but think about how big the galaxy is. 3,000 is not very much. Yes. Thank you. You finally said it. It's impressive. Yes. No, it's really not. It's not impressive at all. Although 3,000 is a lot of ships. Yeah, no, yeah. I love this space station. It's so functional. It's so simple, but it has so much thought put into it. I love the fact that those dry dock arms feel like where you would dock an aircraft carrier. It links directly into modern military. Boom. The centerpiece is clearly Star Trek-esque, but also has that rotative feel as like the space station from 2001. I just thought that, but it has that very relatable feel. I think you're right about the arms, but if you look at the design, I think clearly it's modular, that you could add more arms, and there's other space docks that have more, because you can easily fit more in the gaps. And if you added a second level, if you had a bigger version, you could add another set of doors. I think they could have like a super space dock version of this very easily. This is just like the average one. I definitely see some growth in this. Now, question to you, and we'll see this a lot with other pictures we have. Do you think this is a physical miniature or fully CG? Because I am confused.
Never really gave that much thought, to be honest. I'm assuming, because I don't know how often we'll see it as well. I mean, if we see it on a regular basis, I would say they probably built a miniature for it. But I'm assuming it's probably just CG, would be my guess. Because it's basically long establishing shots and then, close-ups. So,
yeah. It's just the close-ups, and like you mentioned before, feel like Starship Troopers with the level of detail and simplicity, and like it matches the Orville quality, which is a miniature for a lot of close-ups. I do think it's CG as well, but it's very cleanly, nicely done. A lot of physical detail, not a lot of textual detail, but really nice, and so it's great from a far range. And still in this first picture, I just want to point one thing out. You mentioned the size of the heavy cruiser and the Orville. If you look closely at the left-hand pod, there's actually multiple ships which all look like the Orville in terms of base design, but very different sizes. So I think actually the Orville is one of the smaller ones, and the bigger ones are the heavy cruisers. Because if you look at the ring structure, they are actually slightly different. There's ones with 3, ones with 2. We know there's ones with 1 in the next picture. So I think it's like the Enterprise in a sense. It's a universal design scheme. If you look at the bottom right one, there's 3 that are distinctly different sizes of all the same style of ship. So I think that's I like the fact they did different scales for stuff.
And speaking of the next picture, if you go to the single ringed version, since it's not an open ring, and so not really a ring, then that almost looks like a nacelle. That almost looks like a TNG version of a one nacelled scout ship, like the Saladin or the Hermes. Put a red Bizarre on the front of that, and you're good to go. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, I like the idea of different classes having different rings, like more rings equal faster, equal more power. It's just a natural progression of tech. I like it. But they've got those really great detail shots, because they did also focus on showing us this space station as well. And while it's difficult to really get a grip of what things are, I love these detail shots. Now we're right in the heart of this dock. And I will say one thing about the shuttle, and I will say that in the full episode as well. But I love the fact that the consistency of the engine motif is is maintained here. Like, they've all got a similar feel. It's their fleet aesthetic. I like they combined it all.
Absolutely. I'd love to know who designed this thing. We gotta get him on the show. Absolutely. The up close detail is really interesting. It doesn't seem like an overly huge space station, to be perfectly honest. Which is nice. It kind of ties into like the K7 or even the original TOS Starfleet kind of style base, which isn't super huge, not like Space Dock that we see in Star Trek 3. So I kind of like that aspect. I would be interested to see if there are more orbiting Earth. I'm sure there are, and like you said, a 2-ringed one would be amazing, and have more of a where they build the ships, not necessarily launch them and repair them. Would be neat to see. So, well,
if you go to the last picture, you can see on the left-hand side there is actually you can see the window placement. So it is that's just these struts. This is a pretty sizable station. It's just in compact areas, so huge, but not Earth space dock. But I mean that goes obviously for height versus outer space. I mean, in terms of internal volume, which we do mention, length and height don't always equate to size, like real size. The E and the D are actually very, from Star Trek, very long, similar length, but suddenly the way they compress, the internal volume is actually very different. So it is different.
Absolutely.
But if we go to, I guess, picture 3, the one after the one we got to, it's a different class of ship that is docked. And I wanted to make note of this because we only ever see the Orville or the Orville style and the shuttle, but here is docked. It looks like a Star Wars ship with those outer aft engines, a sort of coming in forward bit.
Yeah, actually, I get more of a Battlestar Galactica, original Battlestar Galactica rear vibe from that. But yeah, the 3 on each side is very cool. It looks more like maybe a cargo ship. Perhaps speculating, of course.
We have no information. It's just one shot.
Yeah, I never noticed that other ship before. So great call.
Frame by frame, it's important. But again, it's not all the same look. I love the visual of that top part of the station. It's very familiar, very simple, but I like the depth. I like the space. The negative space actually kind of works. It's almost got DS9 vibe as well with the outer pylons. Like, it combines so many different pieces that you sort of get that each element is a function. Maybe the crew is all in the outer ring, so you get the nice view unobstructed, and inside it's the commercial piece, and the lower bit is the dock, and then it's all functional, which I like.
Never really considered that either, but yeah, that's
neither had I. That's a great thing about Mission Briefing. We just say things and see which ones hit the wall.
And the next picture has a shot of one of the arms, which again would be full of cargo and full of either for loading the ships, getting them ready to depart, also construction materials. Perhaps maybe they build ships in these docking things. I'm not sure, but the general nature of that is just like a big warehouse or a big dock, like you see major ships come into on Earth.
I was
just loaded with freight and stuff. So
I was quite surprised we didn't see any sort of work bees. I was expecting a shot where we see them buzzing around and wondering what they would do for that, but we didn't see that. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, never really considered that either. Next shot's more of a close-up of the top of one of the arms. It looks like there's hatches there of some kind, maybe escape pods even. Those little round things. Don't know. I don't know what else really to say about this.
This was just to highlight the detail because it's just so much physical detail. I really like this model, but it's again simple. It's simple, clean, simple.
So do you think that for these close-up shots they've built a little physical model of like these larger?
No, I don't think it'd be worth it for these sorts of if it was just the long shots, maybe they would have. But I think for this many close-ups, you need a CG just for a single 2-second shot. That's a throwaway shot. They can only use once really. And this is all CG. They just built high detail areas. But that's nice that they kept that vibe because you can over detail things and make it look hyper real, or you can make it look like low detail CG. And this was a nice. It mimicked the miniature look, which I really appreciate.
Now, while the show was going on, I was reading a lot of comments kind of live, and a lot of people complained about the CGI. Now, you're the CGI guy for Trekyards and Fleetyards. Was there any problems with it that you saw? Was it not as up to par in some spots?
Well, define up to par. If you compare it to Discovery, it's movie versus TV. It's good. I believed everything. I like it's got more of a miniature feel. It's got more of a hyper real, simple feel. It mimics the feel of the show. It's quite flat, very clean, very white, very creamy, but it's the whole thing has a consistency. The ship always looks good. It lights really well. It didn't look bad. I mean, I disagree. I even commented early on about the planet in the trailer being very pixelated. I think they actually improved on that. I think they re-rendered that bit after the fact with that more high-res planet. 'Cause I didn't notice the same thing this time around. No, I didn't think CGI was bad. I mean, it's not pushing the edges of what we can do, but it's not trying to be this hyper gritty. It looked great for what it's trying to be.
The one shot I noticed the CGI might have looked a little bit wonky on, the second time I viewed it, was the shot where the ship is leaving the dockyard here, and you kind of go over the top of the bridge. There was one or two details about the ship that kind of looked not as good as they could. In my opinion, I could just be... because I'm not
That's the
trained
physical
for that
miniature.
kind of thing.
So I mean, you're seeing a thing. You're not used to seeing miniatures anymore. So you're sort of comparing hyper ultra detailed.
It looks CGI, that scene. To me, it didn't look
maybe.
like a physical miniature.
I think that's probably because you're seeing the bridge. I did notice the bridge, because the dome at the top, and we haven't. Well, the dome at the top is slightly oval, so the way it reflects inside.
Is it oval or Orville?
Joke of the day. 10 points to Gryffindor. No, it was not straight flat, so the perspective wasn't perfect. It was brilliant, but it wasn't perfect, which means that CG element suddenly, for me as well, stood out more. So you're seeing a obviously CG element. It didn't blend as well as it should do, but again, it was very good for what it was. I mean, no, I like the CG. I mean, it did what it needed to do, and I give them all credit. The fact that I asked in our review, is it a miniature, says great things. I think they did a wonderful job. I don't think I didn't think that they pushed any boundaries, but it's the first episode. And it was a leave dry dock. And I mean, if you look at TMP, I mean, the only real difference with TMP is that the miniatures have more detail, like little details, and they had more self-illumination, so you could have darker areas. I mean, the Orville is not being lit by anything except space, so it has to be nice and bright. If you compare them, I wouldn't say one was more beautiful than the other. Not really. Just this was slightly flatter.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, I liked it. But yeah, again, the next picture is the close-up with the docking ports. This was a reference to me personally of 2009, leaving space dock. And also it was being a bit more, it was answering the question of how does the TMP Enterprise stay in dry dock? Well, we latch on clamps. Yeah.
This to me had the Starship Troopers vibe.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, and you know you do.
Yeah, that's good though. And then this last picture was one we saw from the trailer. Again, beautiful ship, beautiful space station. This one has a great sense of scale to it. It's not a huge ship. I love the fact that you have a 2 ring at the bottom. We saw 1 ring. Very easy to do. And I think the dimensions are slightly different on the front of that. I think they pushed in a little bit, a smidge. I think.
Yeah, on the other ship it looks like it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So back to the first picture, the whole station. So closing thoughts on this. What was it called again? It was
Dockyard.
Sorry.
It's hard to get used to new. Yeah, I understand. No, again, I think they did a fantastic job with it. I'd like to see more versions of it, or different ones orbiting Earth. I think would be great, because I don't think this is the main one. This isn't like their flagship that they're putting them on or anything. But yeah, I think it's
with 3,000 ships. I mean, this could only hold a couple of dozen, and mostly the small ones. And the Orville's not one of the best ones, so it's just one of the many.
Yeah, but no, I think it's a great design. Again, the number 3 crops up a lot in sci-fi as far as construction goes. I noticed like K7 has 3 pods, and there's a lot of try things in sci-fi. Well, they match that here.
It's symmetry without symmetry.
Yeah,
it has a more interesting feel. I think if it had 4, it would just have been a flat, bulky thing. Yeah. As we've said with many ships over the years, subtle things can make a huge difference in design. And by either not doing it or by doing it, you can either make the ship go, oh, this isn't as good as it could be, or this one teeny detail sets it off. And I know in our Orville episode, our first one, we looked at the ship itself, we said so many little details just set off, and they're minute that most people don't even notice. But when you understand design and you look at as many things as we do, little things make a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There we go.
Do you think that's it?
I think that's it.
Cool. Well, hopefully you guys liked this. If you did, please click the like button. What are your thoughts on the station? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Why? For each one? Because you can't really complain without giving an explanation or a reason
Hopefully
for
not.
it without sound like whining. Try to offer a solution to any problems that you may see, or just tell us how you feel about it. It would be great. And don't forget to click the like buttons and subscribe, because we're going to have a lot more of these, because there's a lot more ships we're going to see in Orville, and we're going to cover each one of them on Fleetyards at some point.
And Stuart, you might have noticed because we filmed them. Yesterday released some Orville reviews of episode 1. Yes, we are doing full-on episode reviews, as we did with, I think, Star Trek Beyond, but this is even more detailed. So please go back and check those out. Put a lot of thought into those, and set our condensed thoughts, more about the plot and overall feel, and a detailed breakdown of all the scenes. Very, very spoiler-filled. Very, very spoiler-filled.
And don't forget, too, when the trailer first came out, we did a whole episode on the Orville, what we thought, what we speculated. Now that you've seen an episode, go back and check that out. See what we got right, what we got wrong. As we learn more, of course, we're going to do a more detailed episode on it, but that's out there as well, guys.
And basically, Stuart, welcome to the Orville-verse, because it's here.
Yeah. Awesome.
But, guys, you can support us, and we do need support to keep these things coming to you every single week, because guess what? New shows every single week. Oh my god, I've got to keep up on this. You can help us by a couple of ways. Directly, which is our Patreon, which is a monthly donation service, kind of like a Netflix or a Hulu or whatnot. You give a little bit each and every month that goes directly to us, helps us keep the lights on and give the time we do need to make these shows, or a one-time donation at Trekyards.com. Just click into the bar, go there, see the donate button, click, say $1,000 or just $5, whatever. It all helps. It all goes towards just us keep on going and keeping this content coming to you, because we know you guys like listening to us, or you wouldn't be watching this video, or even up to this now bit. So we know you like us, so helps out. Thanks in advance.
And if you're a Star Trek fan as well, don't forget our Discovery stuff that's coming out soon. As soon as Discovery's out, it's just around the corner, guys. So check us out, subscribe, and make sure you're here to check all that stuff out.
2018 and end of 2017 will be hell of a good sci-fi years.
I think so, yeah. But anyways, guys, until next time, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Kongs.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.